First game of the season's in the books. We unfortunately took the L 31-21 against the Jaguars, but it wasn't all bad, right? We'll do more detailed breakdowns throughout this week, so make sure you subscribe with notifications on. Going to be doing more film study now that we're actually in the season. Really want to get you guys film study so that I can showcase what this team is doing and what we should really be paying attention to, because the national media clearly has no idea what they're talking about when they're talking about this team. So the story of this game is Anthony Richardson. Of course, that was pretty much going to be the story of this game no matter what. Okay, the story coming out of this one, okay, from Landon Oliver on Twitter, Landon at Landon3MR. He said, after week one, Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson leads all rookie quarterbacks in completion percentage, yards, touchdowns, and passer rating. Okay, this is a guy that everybody was saying, oh, he's only started 13 games in college. There's no way he's going to be any good in the NFL. Okay, look at the stats for Anthony Richardson compared to the other quarterbacks. Anthony Richardson in his debut, 24 of 37, which is 65% completion percentage. 223 pass yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, 1 passing touchdown. He also had 40 rushing yards on top of that. And he did have the 1 interception. Okay, it was a mistake. He knew, and he said as much in his press conference that he didn't put as much onto that ball as he should have. It was too flat in the corner. He said he did see the corner, but he threw it too flat, and he ended up getting the interception. So at least he understands what he did. He knows what he needs to do now. He just needs to fix it. Okay. So then you look at CJ Stroud in his debut, 28 for 44, which is 64% completion, 242 pass yards, sacked 5 times, and lost 1 fumble. Bryce Young in his debut, okay, the number 1 overall pick, the one that was supposed to be more ready than everybody, 20 for 38, which is 53% completion percentage. That was worse than Anthony Richardson's completion percentage in college, by the way. 146 pass yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, sacked twice, had a fumble. Okay, so Anthony Richardson, for all intents and purposes, had a really good first game. Okay, it wasn't perfect, right? The offense only put up 14 points, right? Anthony Richardson's touchdown, and then the screen pass to Michael Pittman Jr. that he took, 39 yards for the touchdown. So not great by the offense. They definitely shot themselves in the foot at different times. Penalties were the big thing. But we had talked about on Friday about the keys to the game. Turnovers, we always talk about turnovers and how they decide football games. But I told you guys, whoever wins third down battle is going to win that game. And at the end of the day, Colts were absolutely abysmal on 3rd and 4th down in this game. Absolutely abysmal. And you're never going to win football games if you're not picking up 3rd downs. And that's the hard thing with the rookie quarterback. Like, you get into those situations and it makes things difficult, especially when so many of them are 3rd and 8 or longer because the run game isn't working. It gets so difficult for a rookie quarterback to be able to complete all those. So going forward, we're going to need help. Anthony Richardson needs help. He can't do it all on his own. He played a really good game for what he had. Okay, now where he was getting some help was from Michael Pittman Jr., who ended the game with 8 catches, 97 yards, and of course, the touchdown from 39 yards out. And we're going to need more than that. Alec Pierce had 1 catch. Josh Downs caught a couple balls early, but finished the game with 3 catches for 30 yards. Right. And the next closest guys to Pittman were Deion Jackson, 5 catches, 14 yards. Kylan Granson, 4 catches, 39 yards. Right. Unfortunately, Drew Ogletree gets knocked out of this game early with a concussion. Hopefully he gets back soon. Really liked having him on the field. And he finally got a catch in the NFL. And then he gets the concussion. He's out. But outside of Anthony Richardson today, Colts had 16 carries for 25 yards. Okay, Anthony Richardson had 10 for 40 and a touchdown. All 3 other running backs combined for 16 for 25. That is absolutely unacceptable. And if there's anything that could have possibly happened that would make Jonathan Taylor's value immediately go up to the Colts, it just happened today. because you can't have that, right? Evan Hull gets hurt. We have no idea what the extent of his injury is. There's no telling when he's going to be back. Zach Moss probably going to be back next week, and that's good. But at some point, there has to be another answer. Jonathan Taylor's at the very best is coming back week 5. Who knows if he's ever going to play? He might just not play for us again. Who knows? So, what are we going to do at the running back position? Okay, that's one of those topics that we'll talk more about. There's an obvious answer in my head, but I want to go through and look at options, and I'm going to come up with options and make a video about that here in the next couple days. So while the offense, as we assumed, is going to need to figure things out, this defense under Gus Bradley for the second straight season, and with all the starters back in there, they played a really, really good game. Like a bunch of 3 and outs in this game. They were getting turnovers. DeForest Buckner gets a strip sack. Everybody thinks it called an incomplete pass, but Zaire Franklin heads up play comes and knocks the ball out of Tank Bigsby's hands. DeForest Buckner returns it for a touchdown. Like the defense played great. And what we were hoping to see from the defense was that they could get pressure. And they were getting a lot of pressure. The beginning of the game, not playing well in the run game, but tightened that up and then had a bunch of tackles for loss, specifically in the second half. The second half adjustments, Gus Bradley definitely took over there in the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth quarter before the Jaguars really started to blow it open. At that point, the defense had been on the field too much, just had to know at that point. Like, you could tell that if the Colts didn't put points up, like they had plenty of chances to put points up in that second half, and they weren't able to capitalize. If they did, the defense would have had to be on the field so much, would have had more time to get a breather, could have been more fresh at the end of the game, but they were on the field too much, and you just knew when the Colts weren't scoring that the Jaguars were eventually going to break the seal, and it ended up happening. They were only up 3 points, and then Travis Etienne looks like he's getting stopped 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, then he just bounces it around. Nobody's there to catch him. Nobody. They were way too tired to be able to catch him, so it just ended up not working out in the end. Kind of what the story of last year was. Offense not being good enough, not converting on third downs. Defense is on the field too much. By the end of it, they lose it, right? You can't ask the defense to do so much, especially early on. This is only week 1. We're going to need to tighten things up. Defense can't be playing as much as they did in week 1. Okay, so if you look at the Jaguars, look at how the defense played. Trevor Lawrence finished this game 24 for 32 for 241, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The Jaguars rushing, they had 35 total carries for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. And again, a lot of that damage was done in the first and second quarter. They were running up the middle for, 6, 7, 8, 9 yards every single time. And then eventually the Colts adjusted and they got it figured out and they stopped giving them such big chunk plays on the inside zones. Right? If you look at the receivers, right, we were so concerned about the receivers and how much firepower this offense had. But at the end of the day, 24 completions went to 5 guys. Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, Travis Etienne, and Christian Kirk. All right, and Calvin Ridley, he goes off, has 8 catches for 101 and a touchdown. But most of that, 7 for 92 and a touchdown, came in the first half. So they shut him down in the second half. All in all, there were a lot of positives that came out of the day. It wasn't perfect. Obviously, you don't get the win. Things didn't go perfectly. You got to limit turnovers. You have to convert on third downs, and you have to protect the quarterback. Josh Allen had 3 sacks in this game. He was disruptive all day. He popped Deion Jackson more than one time. I think there are 2 that I can remember where it was like if Anthony Richardson hadn't kept the ball, they would have been big losses. And I actually think the second one, he did give Deion Jackson the ball, and he just got upended. Like, it was Deion Jackson was getting hit immediately upon touching the ball. Like, they're going to have to figure that out, figure out why that's happening, and be able to stop that. They're going to have to be able to convert on 3rd and short, 4th and short. Like, you have to get that done. It was really bad today. Going forward, they're going to have opportunities. Right, next week, it's the Texans. And if we're ever going to be able to dominate a team, it's going to be this upcoming week. Right. So again, we're going to have more film studies this week. Going to start having, conversations about the Texans. Going to start putting together, matchup previews and everything like that. If there's anything else that you guys would like to hear about, please let me know down in the comment section. Don't be afraid to let me know. I'll get you guys everything I can as soon as I can. And make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so that you're getting updated when all these videos are coming out. We're getting into the season now. It's going to be a lot of fun going forward. With week one out of the way, I'm ready to get into week two. It's Texans week, big time game coming up. See if Anthony Richardson and the boys can avenge the week one loss. But with that said, until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.